If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree, yeah.
So we're starting things off with the modifieds race at Martinsville. We already have a two-way title fight for the championship between Justin Bonsignor and Austin Beers. And of course, Patrick Emerling eliminated from the title fight as soon as they took the green flag. And well, this race, it was dominated by Justin Bonsignor. Of course, Bonsignor needed to dominate and win this race and needed a little outside help from Austin Beers to clinch to have a shot at the championship. And well, in terms of what Bonsignor needed to do at Martinsville, he did everything he needed to have a shot at the title, as he dominated and won the race at Martinsville. Once again, Bonsignor conquers another grandfather clock at Martinsville. The million-dollar question is, would that be enough to get him another modifieds title? No, it would not. As even though Bonsignor did everything he needed to do, Austin Beers did everything he needed to do to clinch the championship, as Austin Beers would end up finishing second at Martinsville. And that second place finish is more than enough for Austin Beers to clinch his first Modifieds Tour Championship. So Austin Beers' second place finish means he clinches the 2025 Modifieds Tour Championship. Which honestly, congrats to Austin Beers on the championship, his first career title. So we have a first-time champion in Modifieds. Honestly, a bit of a break from some of the same old names like Ron Silk and Justin Bonsignor won it all the time. I mean, no disrespect to them. They're all legends, especially Doug Colby and all them too. But it's kind of nice to see somebody new step in the spotlight so that we can potentially build even more stars in the sport and in the series too. So yeah, a new champion in Modifieds. A nice Thursday night for Modifieds. A great race too. Ends with a new champion being crowned. Honestly, congrats to Austin Beers on the title. Well deserved. Honestly, I feel like it's been a long time coming for Austin Beers. He's honestly gotten better and better every single year. And now he finally has his moment. Oh, I tip my glass. I tip my glass to Austin Beers and congratulate him. Welcome to the Modifieds Champions Club. You're officially now a short track legend in Modifieds. Congratulations. Well deserved. And that puts a book on the Modified season. And Modifieds is confirmed to be back on Flow Racing next year for streaming. So that's good to see. Honestly, we just need Modifieds to get more attention in the future. Because Modifieds is extremely underrated. It deserves a lot more attention. It's in the same boat as the Canada Series. Underrated series that deserve more attention. You know, hopefully they get more attention in the future. But yeah, anyway, now let's get to the shit that actually will probably piss people off. The cutoff playoff drama for NASCAR. Let's begin with the Truck Series race. Well, let's be honest, this Truck Series race, it was really just the Corey Heim versus Brent Cruz show throughout this race, as Heim had the best truck throughout this race at Martinsville, just like nearly every other race this year. Corey Heim has been absolute god mode in trucks this year. Like, the fact that he can end up losing the title because of something out of his control next week is pretty fucking retarded, if you ask me. Like, the only truck in the race that had a shot at competing with him and actually had a chance to go toe-to-toe with him was Brent Cruz. Until Cruz fell out because of some late race shuffling. But Corey Heim, he ends up pretty much ending any must-win drama from the outside looking in. And Corey Heim, he was the only driver coming into Martinsville locked in, and he stayed that way as he ends up winning 2 out of 3 and gets his 11th win of the season. Already setting the record for most wins in the Truck Series season. And now continues to add on to that record with now 11 wins on the year. Jesus Christ. Like, it's absolutely criminal that Heim will possibly be out of the could possibly lose the title next week because of shit out of his control, because this format rewards mediocrity. And which, honestly, shout out to Corey Heim for finally calling out NASCAR on this bullshit in the post-race press conference. Because, honestly, listening to Heim's post-race press conference, I detected zero lies. Heim spoke the damn truth. Because this format does reward mediocrity and fucks over the best driver throughout the season. I mean, just look at the history of this format. Like in the Cup Series, there's only 2 times under this format we've had since 2014 where I can confidently say the best driver won the title. And that was Truex 2017 and Larson 2021. I know a lot of fans will mention Kyle Busch 2019. I disagree. I think 2019's debatable. I think Truex was better than Busch in 2019, but not by much. It was very close. So, I know a lot of people will bring up Busch 2019 in the comments with the timestamp here, but I disagree. You know, hey, we can agree to disagree at the end of the day. I mean, bottom line for 2019, we can at least unanimously agree that JGR was the best team that year and deserved the title. We can at least agree on that front. In terms of Xfinity, there's only 4 times under this format where I confidently can say the best driver won the title. Those being Suarez 2016, Byron 2017, Reddick 2019, and Cindric 2020. And in trucks, there's only 2 times I can confidently say the best driver won the title that year. And those being Bell 2017 and Shane Smith in 2022. So, yeah, the only series that's actually had a pretty decent rate at crowning the best driver throughout the season champion was Xfinity. I mean, Cup, we've only had 2 in, 12 years. That's a pretty bad grade. So, yeah, Heim definitely telling the truth. And honestly, I think we're getting ready for the worst-case scenario, considering that the Final Four is a pretty weak Final Four outside of Heim. Because we have the reigning champ, Mickey Mouse Truck champion, Ty Majeski in the Final Four, along with Tyler Ankrum and Caden Honeycutt in Stuart Friesen's truck, who got in on a tiebreaker over Lane Riggs because he had a better finish in the round of 8 than Lane Riggs. Even though Lane Riggs had 3 wins this year, to Hayden Honeycutt 0. Oh, wait a minute, Brian France in NASCAR. Wasn't the whole point of this gimmick bullcrap was to put a bigger emphasis on winning over everything else? Isn't that what Brian France said in his drunk, coked out words back in January 2014? When this bullshit came into fruition? If that's the case, then why the hell is a driver with 3 wins getting beaten out on a tiebreaker over a guy with 0 wins? Doesn't that defeat the entire purpose of this format? Because a guy with 0 wins is in the Final Four, but a guy with 3 wins isn't? And let's not get this twisted. Corey Heim has been the best driver in trucks this year by a country mile. His numbers this year, you may as well say it's at least 2 country miles. But it's so fucking stupid that the second best driver in trucks this year in Lane Riggs, the only guy in trucks this year that has been able to go toe-to-toe with Corey Heim this year, and he doesn't get to compete for a title because of a stupid fucking tiebreaker rule for a chase. Because the tiebreaker's best finish in this round, which all but makes Lane Riggs' 3 wins this year pretty meaningless then. If you're honestly, the tiebreaker should be most wins, not best finish. It should be most wins this in the season, which Lane Riggs would have that tiebreaker over Honeycutt easily. Honestly, it's so fucking stupid. Honestly, this is why NASCAR needs to get rid of the fucking playoffs. Because it just leads to pure stupidity. So, yeah. Hopefully, this is the last elimination race we ever deal with at Martinsville if NASCAR gets their heads out of their asses and does the right thing. And honestly, with time I'm calling NASCAR out and calling this format complete bullshit, don't be surprised if Heim gets fined later this week for actions detrimental to stock car racing, because Because, oh no, he spoke the truth and said some things NASCAR won't like. And the media's probably going to try and get the fans to turn on him throughout the week. Because you know the media likes to push the fucking playoffs narrative. Especially guys like Mama Smith and Danielle Trotta and Kenny Wallace, and to name a few. Even though Kenny Wallace doesn't work for NASCAR, but he still sucks their dick. Crazy how that works. So maybe maybe having NASCAR not sign your paychecks doesn't change anything. Hey, you know, ass kisser's gonna ass kiss, am I right? Now we move on to the Xfinity Series cutoff race. And let's be honest, I honestly haven't paid much attention to any cutoff point battles. Because honestly, the only acceptable driver to win the title this year is Connor Zillage. Like, honestly, for Zillage, it's the same boat as Corey Heim. It'd be absolutely criminal if both of them get robbed of their respective championships at Phoenix next week. Hell, with the way that things are, well, in this race, though, it was mainly just Justin Allgaier dominated the early going, but he ended up falling out of contention, but Allgaier was already locked in on points after Dega, so this race didn't mean anything to him. This race was mainly just a JGR battle of Taylor Gray versus Eric Almirola. One driver eliminated from the championship fight. The other is already locked into the owner's final four for the owner's championship. And also, Austin Hill is also locked in the Final Four for the owner's title, too. But Taylor Gray, of course, he was looking for redemption following the events of what happened in the spring at Martinsville. And even though there was a chance for Sammy Smith to keep it out. But, of course, it's probably going to end the same way as the spring because it going to a green-white checkered. And since you know this is an elimination race in the playoffs and we haven't had any stupid bullshit happen during the playoffs, you already know that this finish is going to be a fucking disaster and an absolute shit show that will piss everybody off. All I say in NASCAR is, dear fucking God, just get the shit show over with already so I can go back to my liquor. Wait. It wasn't a shit show? It actually ended peacefully under green with no last lap shenanigans in a green-white checkered in the playoffs. Well, outside the piston match between Sam Mayer and Jeff Byrne, but that's a minor nitpick. Plus it's one eliminated driver and one driver that's pretty irrelevant in Xfinity. Outside of his 2 wins at Dago, which stupid Speedway wins aren't really that impressive with how much of a crapshoot it is. But still, they actually race with respect in the green-white checkered in elimination race? What? And Sammy Smith didn't repeat what happened in the spring? He actually learned his lesson and tried the race clean, which resulted in Taylor Gray getting his first career Xfinity win? Maybe there is hope in today's NASCAR and it may not be an absolute shit show with the gimmicks NASCAR produces. Or maybe the drivers just protest inside, you know what? What if we don't give NASCAR what they want? And have it end peacefully under, like it's some season-long points type shit. But hey, at least we get one storyline in all this. Taylor Gray is officially a winner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. For one more week before the series becomes the O'Reilly Series next year. But hey, honestly, no shenanigans in a cutoff race? That is kind of shocking, not gonna lie. Especially considering the history we've had in other cutoff races in the past. This is a nice breath of fresh air for a change, especially in Martinsville, because we've seen a lot of controversies happen at Martinsville. Especially with the events of the Cup race last year, with the Chevy and Toyota race manipulations in the Cup Series. So, it's kind of good to have this. Honestly, no controversy is good publicity. But yeah, and also in all this, Carson Kvapil and Jesse Love both locked their way into the Final Four, which means this is an all Chevrolet Final Four for the championship. And it's mainly Jesse Love versus Junior Motorsports. So regardless of what happens, Chevy wins either way. And Junior Motorsports enters with a 75% chance at winning the title. And also, not only can Silage lose the title next week, he can also lose Rookie of the Year as well. Because Carson Kvapil is still competing for Rookie of the Year. Like, it is absolutely criminal that Connor Silage may not even win Rookie of the Year. When under a real championship format, Silage would have won both the title and Rookie of the Year. Like, his season is easy in Xfinity this year. Silage has easily had the best rookie season in Xfinity Series history. And he may not end up winning anything for it that will showcase that. Like, that just shows how stupid the playoff format is. And honestly, I'm honestly disappointed that Connor Silage didn't call out the format like Corey Heim did. But, you know, at the same time, though, maybe Corey Heim said everything that Silage and some people might have said. So there was really no point to repeat what Heim already said. So at least if that's the case, I can understand that. But yeah, honestly, in terms of Xfinity and trucks, God help us all if Heim and Silage don't win the titles in their series. Because both of them should not be in this situation. Because Heim would have locked the title up weeks ago, and Silage on a real format would have locked the title up at Martinsville. Like, honestly, both should be champion, but they both might not end up winning nothing at Phoenix. Because this format is fucking stupid and dumb. And it always screws over the best driver throughout the season champion. All I say to racing gods is prove me wrong at Phoenix next weekend. But honestly, the racing gods probably have a better chance at winning the lottery than proving me wrong. Because it seems like with this bullshit format, I get proven right more often than not. Anyway, before we talk about the drama of the Cup race, let's go all the way to the F1 race to a championship battle that actually means something. As now we head to the F1 race at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez up in Mexico. Still fucking criminal NASCAR's not going to be at Mexico next year because of FIFA. Because of the FIFA World Cup, because they're going to be putting games in Canada and Mexico because of Trump being a fucking idiot in politics. Politics fucking ruin everything in sports. Whether it's stick and ball sports or motorsports, politics ruin everything, bottom line. That's why politics are stupid and dumb. Anyway, with that out of the way, on to the race itself. As really this race, it was mainly Lando Norris' domination as he dominated the race flag to flag. Was really uncontested from Charles Leclerc after. The only real drama that happened in this race was behind Lando, as we have Verstappen and Hamilton get into a pissing match which led to Hamilton getting a 10-second penalty. Beep! For leaving the track to gain an advantage because he didn't use the runoff road properly. When that penalty cost Hamilton a shot at the podium, which would have been Hamilton's first podium with Ferrari. What a shame. But I mean, there was a chance in this race because this race was so chaotic and fucky. Like, there was a lot of comers and goers to where we almost had a Haas podium because Ollie Behrman somehow ended up third through all this. And also through all this, in terms of the championship, Piastri struggled throughout this race. Like, whatever they did to Lando's car for McLaren, they did the exact opposite to Piastri. Like, whatever setup they gave Lando, they gave Piastri the complete opposite of that because he was not there at all. And of course, Behrman had a shot at the podium until he was forced to pit while Verstappen pitted earlier on a different strategy and got up to third. And it looked like that Verstappen was going to end up passing Leclerc for third until a late race virtual safety car for Carlos Sainz stalling in the stadium section of where the fans are, which led to a virtual safety car on the last lap, which means the race was going to end under the caution, which means Lando Norris is gonna wait, what? They didn't end the race under caution? They sent the race back green with half a lap remaining, and Lando Norris still won, and Leclerc still finished P2, and Verstappen still finished P3, And Ollie Behrman still got his best career finish with Haas in P4. And Piastri still finished P5. So literally, going green for half a lap changed nothing. Like, honestly, the FIA would have been better off just ending the race under caution. Like, I understand, trying to give the fans a green flag finish, but, it's okay for some races to end under caution. Like, you can have a race be good and still end under caution. It is possible for that. I know that's kind of hard for NASCAR fans to comprehend that, but it is possible if you actually don't be a fucking idiot and have your head dug in the damn sand. Because F1 doesn't do no silly green-white checker overtime bullshit. But yeah, honestly, FI would have been better off just ending this race under caution because, I'll be honest, it's not worth giving the fans a green flag finish unless you're going to give them a one-lap shootout. Because honestly, a half a lap green flag shootout is honestly kind of pointless. It just feels like a half-assed attempt at trying to give the fans a green flag finish. And as we've seen in NASCAR, usually giving the fans a half-assed attempt at something doesn't end well 95% of the time. As 95% of the time, it just pisses the fan base off even more. But of course, thank God the championship battle is extremely tight, though. So hey, still 4 races, anything can happen, though. And also with Norris winning and Piastri struggles, Lando Norris now takes the championship lead for the World Drivers' title by 1 single point over Piastri. And for Verstappen, even though it's a 1-point battle between Norris and Piastri, don't count Max Verstappen out of this thing. Because Verstappen now cuts his deficit down to 36 points in the championship fight with 4 races to go. So even though it's mainly Norris versus Piastri, don't count Verstappen out. He's 100% in this fight. Because Verstappen can make up 36 points in the last 4 races. Because we got 4 races left. And the next race on the calendar is, it's Verstappen's best track in Brazil. And also, of those 4 races, 2 of them were sprint races. And Brazil is one of those sprint races. The other, I believe, is Qatar. And we also got Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, the final 4 races for F1 this year. So this championship fight's going down to the wire. Will it be a McLaren driver winning it? Or will Verstappen play spoiler in the F1 in the McLaren Civil War and claim his 5th straight title? 4 races and 2 sprints will play a big factor in deciding that. It should be an epic championship fight. See, NASCAR? Season-long points formats can work today. If you just let it play out naturally and stop being fucking God. Once again, season-long points for the win over gimmick chase playoffs nonsensical bullshit. And what a leadway right into the Cup race at Martinsville. Honestly, I was not really looking forward to this race, especially after the shenanigans that happened last year that pretty much ruined this format for everybody. Where it just pisses everybody off. Plus, everyone was coming into this race. Everyone's like, oh, why bother watching this race? We all know Blaney's just going to win for the 3rd year in a row and punch his ticket and probably get Penske another illegitimate Mickey Mouse championship. And oh yeah, Blaney didn't win this race. See, kids, don't just assume somebody's going to win based on their history. This is why you actually do the damn race. Instead of just throwing the damn towel before it even starts. Especially since Blaney started all the way back at 31st, but he easily had the 2nd best car in this race. As easily the man to beat in this race was William Byron, who was one of the 4 drivers in the must-win situation. So with Bell and Blaney effectively battling out for the win for the majority of this race, then it really came down to Larson and Christopher Bell to decide who got that 4th and final spot. As Larson was able to go and get stage points, Bell really struggled throughout this race. While Larson was up front doing everything he needed to try and win the final 4 on points. But up front, I mean, Blaney looked like maybe he was going to pull it off for a third straight year until Byron got into him and did the bump and run with 44 to go. And then Byron came back, took the lead. But of course, we had a couple late race caution shenanigans, which led to a 12-lap shootout. But even despite Blaney's best efforts, he could not get back to Byron. And of course, everyone's like, oh, well, we're probably going to have a late race caution. Some shenanigans are going to happen since it's a cutoff race. And since we haven't had any shenanigans in Cup, we all knew it was going to come eventually. And it didn't. So, yeah, and also I'll just say this. Hamlin and Briscoe DNFing from engine issues, not meaning anything. It should mean a lot more, but we don't have a real championship format in NASCAR. We have this stupid manufactured WWE dog shit. That pretty much gives Hamlin and Briscoe mulligans since they're both already locked in. So, yeah, that should mean something, but it sadly doesn't. If only NASCAR had a real championship format and that was a real motorsport. And not some WWE wannabe. But in the meantime, up front, William Byron, he was in a must-win, needed to win this race. He dominated this race, led like 307 laps. Like, complete domination from Byron. Did everything he needed to, and then some, and got the win. And William Byron punches his ticket into the Final Four. Which, oddly enough, even Byron is would be equally deserving too, because even though Xfinity and trucks, even though it's pretty clear-cut who the most deserving is in the Cup Series, who is the most deserving driver in the Cup Series for the championship this year? Because even though Xfinity and trucks have clear-cut choices, there isn't a clear-cut choice in Cup this year. Like in terms of the 4 drivers that did make the Final Four, you could easily make a solid case for any of those 4. Because, oh yeah, with Byron winning, Larson finished 5th, had Bell finish 7th. Larson beat it out Bell for the 4th and final spot by 7 points. So the Final Four is Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, William Byron, and Kyle Larson. So Byron and HMS shut Penske out of the Final Four entirely. So, of course, that also means Chase Elliott's eliminated too, which I think we all knew that was coming because the 9 team can't handle a single shred of adversity. Even though Elliott tried with a 3rd place finish, it just wasn't enough. And Logano was nowhere near up front outside of some strategy calls. And Logano struggled. Honestly, thank fucking God. Now everybody can stop pretending that Logano was going to win another Mickey Mouse title. Like, some people need to realize, this is an odd number year. Logano doesn't make the Final Four on odd number years. He only does it on even number years. And normally this is the part where I'd say that Logano's just going to bullshit into it next year. That probably won't be the case since a lot of reports are saying this format's gone after this year. Those reports better be fucking true or so help me God. As really, in terms of the format, it's really down to 3 choices. The 3 rumored formats for next year are the 36-race format, or the original 10-man chase format, or a format where we have 32 points races, and then the final 4 races are its own round. Honestly, I hate the other 2 choices. The only choice the only acceptable answer to those 3 is a 36-race full season points format. That is the only acceptable answer. I know some people mention OG Chase format from 2004 to 2013. I'll be honest about that format. I was on board with it. But 2 things have swayed me away from that format. Tony Stewart's 2011 title run, where Tony Stewart's run proved that the OG Chase format was as much of a crapshoot as the bullshit we have right now. Because Tony was pretty mediocre in 2011 until the chase began. Like, Tony was so mediocre in 2011, he literally said that if they made the chase, they were taking a spot away from someone that's more deserving, and you already know what happens after that. He won 5 of 10 races, won the title over Carl Edwards on a wins tiebreaker. Because Tony Stewart's 2011 run proved that the first 26 races were pretty meaningless under the OG chase format. Because Tony proved that you could be mediocre as all hell under that format, But hey, you know, if you put together 10 solid weeks, boom! You're a champion, Harry! And also, Spingate 2013, that needs no more explanation. I'll be honest, NASCAR should have gone back to a season-long points format after the events of Spingate 2013 with Boyer spinning out and then Boyer and Vickers pitting on purpose to help Truex gain track position to put Truex in the chase and keep Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon out. And also honorable mention to Front Row giving a spot up to Logano to help Logano's case at making the chase as well. So yeah, honestly, they should have gone back to season-long points after Spingate 2013. But of course, NASCAR did what they always did for the longest time until now, and that was bury their heads in the sand and double down on the bullshit that's actively hurted the sport, which has led to the situation that we are in right now. Because the ratings have continued to go down every race. Hell, the ratings at Dega went down. That should tell you everything that this format isn't working. And also the ratings going down at Dega, well, so much for those narratives about people only watching Dega and Daytona and Atlanta for the crashes. So I guess people don't watch those races for the crashes after all. Not the first time I've been wrong. Sure as hell won't be the last. So yeah, the final four this year is JGR versus HMS. A repeat of 2021. Really? All the parity we have in the next-gen car, and we get the two most hated teams battling it out for the title. Wasn't this car supposed to create parity and even out the playing field between the big teams and the small teams? And yet you give the fans the two most hated teams in a duel to the death in the desert? And honestly, this Final Four isn't really much different from 2021. Like, the only differences in the Final Four from 2021 to 2025 of JGR versus HMS is the only differences is the driver in the 19 car, and we swapped Chase Elliott out for William Byron. Outside of those two things, it's the same Final Four from 4 years ago in the last year of the Gen 6 car. So it's like, really, all the parity we've had with this next-gen car, and we give the fans this shit? We give them the two most hated teams in the sport duking it out in a duel to the death? Like, HMS versus JGR, it's NASCAR's version of Boston versus the New York Yankees. That's really what that rivalry is, if we're going to do some stick and ball comparisons here. Appropriate ones. And the inappropriate ones, we don't need to explain those ones any further. But yeah, hopefully this is the last time we have to deal with this elimination bullshit. And hopefully NASCAR does the right thing and goes back to a season-long points. I'll be honest, in Cup, I don't think there really is a way to piss the fans off with the championship next week. Like, honestly, I'd probably be okay with any of those four of Hamlin, Briscoe, Byron, and Larson winning the title. Like, in my honest opinion, the two most deserving of the final four is probably either Hamlin or Larson, and the least deserving is, I can't even really say who's the least deserving, because there isn't a clear-cut choice on it. Because Denny Hamlin would be leading the points entering Phoenix under the F1 points format. Christopher Bell would be leading under the MotoGP points format and the old Winston format. But Chase Briscoe would have a shot at the title under the Winston format. But he would pretty much need to win and would need Bell to finish like 30th or worse at Phoenix, which I highly doubt that would happen. And Byron would be leading under the current points format, just with no Chase, just the non-Chase playoff standings. So, yeah, honestly, like I said before, there isn't really a clear-cut choice like Xfinity and trucks with Zillage and Heim. Like out of the four in the Final Four, any of those four is equally deserving of the title. There isn't a clear-cut choice. Like, honestly, out of those four, you can make a solid argument for any of them. My honest opinion, I'd probably say Denny Hamlin is the most deserving. I know some people may not say on a stat sheet, but I think he'd be the most deserving in everybody's hearts. Because if Hamlin wins, then that officially ends Hamlin's legacy of failure. And also, it would be pretty poetic if Hamlin wins it with him suing the sport right now and that whole court case going to trial next month in December. It would be pretty poetic if NASCAR has to hand the Bill France Cup to the guy that's actively suing the sport right now. That would be pretty funny. And I honestly want to see Hamlin win it just to see if Steve Phelps and Steve O'Donnell will swallow their egos and hand Hamlin the title or not. Because I don't know if Phelps and O'Donnell will swallow their pride enough to hand Hamlin the cup. But I'll tell you right now, if Hamlin doesn't win, it will be because of NASCAR Ref Ball. Because if NASCAR playoff shenanigans strike at Phoenix, it'll be in full effect to screw Hamlin out of the championship. Let's just get that elephant right out of the room. Like, if NASCAR is going to screw anybody out of the title, it will 100% be Hamlin. Unless Hamlin can defy the odds. Yeah, plus I think plus honestly, I think it's been pretty depressing to look at Hamlin's legacy of pain and failure. Because you just look at it, it's pretty depressing. Like, Hamlin's won everything there is to win in this sport. Except the championship. And the Brickyard 400. And honestly, Hamlin doesn't really need any of those two things to make the Hall of Fame. He's already a first ballot Hall of Famer just on his resume alone. Like, the only way Hamlin doesn't make the Hall of Fame first ballot is if shit goes sideways on this lawsuit with NASCAR over the charter deal, and Hamlin and MJ both get the Curtis Turner treatment and get lifetime bans from the sport. That's the only way Hamlin doesn't make the final Hall of Fame. But I mean, honestly, I would like to see Hamlin win a championship. You honestly look at Hamlin's resume, I think it's kind of criminal that he doesn't have the championship. I mean, 60 career wins, top 10 all time, in the top 10 for career wins all time, 3 Daytona 500s, 3 Southern 500s, a Coke 600. Like, how can you have that kind of a resume and no championships? That's pretty fucking crazy. But yeah, I mean, the one positive out of this is, hey, at least there's no Penske car in the Final Four. Sorry, Penske, no Mickey Mouse championships for you. And honestly, all I say is thank fucking God Penske's not in the Final Four. I don't think anybody in this community is mentally strong enough to handle a Penske four-peat. I don't think anybody in their right mind would be mentally strong enough to handle a Penske four-peat. And let's be honest about Penske's three-peat. It's the most illegitimate three-peat I have ever seen in my entire life. Hell, Jimmy Johnson's 5 titles in a row is more legitimate than the bullshit Penske was throwing out there the last couple years. Especially since Blaney and Logano the last 2 years have been two of the worst champions in Cup Series history. Especially Logano last year. So thank God. I say the Penske is starting in 2026. Under a season-long points format, Penske can now go out there and figure out how to win a real championship, you fucking frauds. Because there's only one word I'll describe Penske. Frauds. And honestly, Penske, you deserve to be fucking called Mickey Mouse champions. Especially since most years were the ones that started that whole Chase Elliott, Mickey Elliott bullshit 5 years ago. And oh yeah, Chase Elliott's championship is more legitimate than Blaney and Logano's last titles. Honestly, Penske, you deserve to get mocked for this. Especially considering that the only people that defend this format are Logano and Blaney fans. Because let's be honest, Logano and Blaney would have 0 championships under a real format. Honestly, Penske deserves to be fucking dog shit for a while. Now, Penske fans, fuck off out of my face. See you all for Phoenix next week. All I say is God help us all if Hyman's Village don't win the title next week.